Welcome back here on 4HSFootball.com as we continue to talk with the coaches that are playing in the state championship games coming up this week here in Tallahassee. And then, of course, then we'll have it again for the ones next week as well in Fort Lauderdale. Joining me now is the head coach of the Northview Chiefs in his third year, Wes Summerford, joining us here. Coach, appreciate you being able to take some time. I know it's a busy week. First time that Northview is playing for a state championship in a decade since the last time they won it in 2012. But Coach, you've got your team here, and what's the excitement around there, around Century, Bratt, all those places right there, Walnut Hill, because that's your whole entire area is the northern part of Escambia County, and what's the excitement like right now?
Man, it's all over the place. It's been contagious. I think that weeks ago the community started getting, everybody getting hyped, and when we saw that we had a chance to go undefeated in the regular season, I think everybody started gathering around, and then everybody's been here since our playoff run started, and just great support from the community. All those communities are in our area, and they all do a great job of supporting our football program.
I mean, what is it like, coaching, rural football? Because I know that, a lot of people, they're just like, oh, well, these rural schools, they don't matter. The Panhandle doesn't matter. No, the Panhandle matters. These rural schools matter. So, what is it like for you as coaching rural football? And being your third year as a head coach and being able to get to this point? Because I know it's a different type of football when we talk rural football. When it comes, especially since there's not a lot of passing in rural football. It's more the run game, and we'll talk about that more in a moment with your guys here. But what is it like for you in coaching rural football?
Yeah, it's definitely a different monster. I know that I came from West Florida and Tate. Both of those are huge schools, and really big rosters. And then to move to rural football was an eye-opening experience. I knew that Northview had been the state championship, and so that was one of the reasons I thought we could do it again. But yeah, coaching rural football, you got to be tough. Your kids got to be tough, and I think you gotta mold your program. I know we started early molding our program to be to build those tough players and tough kids, and our kids I think are right there at it.
And with that, you talked about coaching at West Florida. You talked about coaching at Tate. Two of the bigger schools, especially Tate being one of the largest schools in the Panhandle region. You're looking at that. Do you feel like in the fact of the way the FHA went, talking about your past experience real quick, do you think those schools benefited from being metro suburban now? That the Panhandle has a better shot at state championships once again because it's the things are so much different now these days with the way rules are and how open enrollment is and all that.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think that was one of the best moves they made statewide. It just helped these schools up here in the Panhandle, because we got some good football here. It's just hard to compete with those guys down south in Miami when they got all those kids, and no, nothing takes away from Miami and all those guys, but I know they're talented firsthand. When I was at Tate, we ran into those guys down there, and man, they were a sight to see.
Absolutely, and of course, let's talk about the path here that y'all took through the road to the playoffs here, and just with everything that we got here, you know, Coach, looking at it, you got the first round bye in the thing because the six teams go in each region in 1R and Class 1R. But Holmes County gave you a little bit of run for your money in that regional semifinal. So, what did you tell the kids when you were having to, think that Holmes County was not going to turn away? They were not backing down because I know that was, I know that had to wear your kids down a little bit, having to go out there, and especially since some of your guys play both ways.
Mhm. Yeah, it was just a challenging game. It was one of those times we didn't come out like we needed to. I don't think we had a really good week that week, and we've improved our process since then. One of the things we're trying that game is just don't let it. And to me, that's coaching. It falls on me for that repeated performance, and we haven't had it since. I'm not sure we had it many times during the season. A lot of that was just getting better along the way as we went. But I think Holmes County game was a learning experience for us that we always got to come out.
No, and that, and of course, you got through the regional final, easily took out Chipley, who was a team that made the state semifinals last year. So, I mean, do you think that was a game that your kids responded into the way they played against Chipley, and a team that had went to the state semifinals last year, and the way y'all defeated them on the field?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think our kids look more to that game, and I think we got caught, looking ahead possibly on Holmes County. They did a great job, though. Don't get me wrong; they did a great job on both sides of the ball. Um, but I think that our kids, when the Chipley game came up, you just watch film, and we thought it was going to be really tough, and our kids did too. And so our coaches kind of reestablished how we game planned that week, and we went from there.
No, absolutely. And of course, Coach, let's talk about, everything. You got Union County in that state semifinal game, and they were a good, strong program. Andrew Thomas, who's the head coach there at Union County, took Trenton to two state championship games and won that in the rural league. So when we're talking about you're getting ready to go up against another team in Hawthorne who's now in their third straight state championship game in the rural class. So I mean, looking at that, the Union County game again in the state semifinals, and now it's coming up this week here for Saturday night. Of course, 7 o'clock kickoff at Gene Cox Stadium in Tallahassee, 7 o'clock Eastern time for those watching in Central time. Looking at that, what are the takeaways you got from last week against Union County, and now coming into that you got to play Hawthorne, who the common opponent is Hawthorne played Union County in the regular season, and they were down 21-0 to them, and came back and won against them 28-21 in the regular season. So, what is it about the common opponent here and getting ready for Hawthorne?
Yeah, I think you just got small takeaways, and I think most of it's in the film. I don't really look at the big picture, about the score. I don't think you can do that. I don't think that you can compare common opponents. It just hadn't been a good indicator for us over the years. It hadn't been a good indicator in my coaching career. So you really try not to look at the overall picture, and you more focus on the little things that you pick up in film, things that you saw out of Union County, offensively and defensively, and then you compare that to how Hawthorne treated that, and then that's probably the biggest takeaway in having a common opponent.
No, absolutely. And let's talk about this with Hawthorne itself and its thing, because Hawthorne, again, three, they're in their third straight championship. So what is it for y'all? What made be the biggest key to victory? Going against a team that has been here 3 years in a row and is looking for their first state title, and y'all are looking for the school's second state title.
Yeah, I can honestly say, Josh, that all year we've had the same theme, and I'm not even sure I came up with it. I think our kids came up with it more than I did. But it's talking about a faceless opponent. It's talking about a scoreless scoreboard. Instill that into our kids, and I think the coaches more jumped on the bandwagon than the kids jumping on our bandwagon. It's just an attitude that our kids have. If Northview takes care of Northview, then nobody can beat us, and that's kind of the attitude that we go with. We don't look at scoreboard; we just play as hard as we can the time that we have.
No, absolutely.
And that'll be key this week.
Oh, absolutely. And Coach, let's talk about your team, your guys, the guys that have been really the playmakers here for y'all and everything during this run here that y'all have at this point. Let's talk about it. Caden Odom, 1,300 yards passing, but I think the biggest playmaker is not Odom himself. It's Jamarcus Jefferson. Over 23 yards rushing, 43 touchdowns here in 13 games. I mean, what is it about Jamarcus himself that does so well here? With the run game, because I mean, the fact that also behoved to mention this, Jamarcus Jefferson is also has 7 sacks on the season. So I mean, what is it about Jamarcus that makes him an all-around player, not just on the offensive side of the ball, but as well on defense?
Yeah, I think offensively, Jamarcus he's really smart, and he comprehends our scheme, and he knows where the holes are going to be, he knows where the cuts are going to be. He's been doing this for a long time, and I think the entire time, even when going back to the days when he was not the first team guy, I think that he was taking notes on what he saw, and I think he's learned. That's the big thing about Jamarcus. He's never stopped learning. And I think every game, every practice, he prepares that way. And that's probably the biggest thing with him is his preparation. He never played outside linebacker before this year, and he picked that up. And I can tell you he's gotten better every single game with that, because now he has an understanding of what's going on out there and how it fits into our scheme and his play. And I think he just comprehends it real well. He doesn't always get credit for that, but I think he does a great job in his preparation.
No, absolutely, and of course, another guy that plays both ways for you is Wyatt Scruggs. He's your leading receiver, 316 yards, 6 touchdowns, but he also has 5 interceptions on defense. So, what is it about Wyatt that makes him so good as well? Because again, you're having to, small school, you're having to rely on players going both ways here.
Oh, absolutely, and I think it's just. Wyatt pays attention to the fundamentals of playing those positions. Got great hands, got great speed, and he's a team player. He's going to do his job. He's not one of those receivers that when you're not throwing the ball, let's say we get an RPO situation, we call it automatic run. He's not one of those receivers that just jogs his route. He's going to give you his all every time. Even if the play is being run to the other side, he's going to stop block his guy. And I can say that same thing on defense. He takes his responsibility, even though we know it may be a run situation. He's still on his receiver and still doing his job on defense and offense.
No, absolutely. And Luke Bridges, your leading tackler, 108 tackles here in 13 games. But, Coach, the biggest thing now, looking at the Hawthorne side, I mean, Hawthorne, maybe not so much their offense is well known, but their defense is lights out. And so how do you prepare your offense to be able to go up against a defense where their leading defensive lineman has 18 sacks on the season and just in lesser amount of games that they have played than what y'all have played?
Yeah, I think that I go from my experience as a defense coordinator on the defensive side of the ball. I know the things that makes it easy for defenses, and that is letting them get you off schedule. Those sacks, I think that's probably been a great contributor to why they're so good. They also have some turnovers over there, and that's two things on offense you cannot do, and you can't do against good. You just can't make those things up. And so we're going to try to battle not to get behind those sticks and then not turn the ball over and make it easy for them.
No, absolutely. And Coach, at the end of the day, this is a big game for y'all. It's the biggest game for of the season for y'all, and that's a 7:00 Eastern time kickoff Saturday night at Gene Cox Stadium. I mean, again, it's your community's rallying around y'all, and this is going to be a huge game. And it's expected probably. I mean, it's the thing. You think all the towns are going to shut down all the towns along the northern part of Escambia County are going to be shut down, and they're all going to be sitting in Tallahassee Saturday night.
Yeah, I think you'll get that good old boy feel that the signs on the windows, those for business that day, and everybody's headed east to Tallahassee. I know our community's excited. We're going to do a little ride out Friday. And kind of go through our community and just let them cheer us on. They do a great job of supporting. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I think you're exactly right. What kind of the feel will be around Saturday.
No, absolutely. And of course, the hour time change won't matter too much, I don't think, for you guys either. So
yeah. I mean, I looked at this all before it happened, and thinking about the day it possibly could be on. I think we got the best day because we got an extra day of preparation. I'd really hate for it to be on Thursday. And then also, the time slot that we got, I'd much rather keep it towards the evening. That's a little more normal for us. I couldn't imagine, and I'm hoping that one day I'll get an opportunity, but I couldn't imagine preparing the guys for a daytime game when you hadn't played that all year.
No, absolutely. Well, Coach Summerford, appreciate you being able to stop by here and talk some football with us, and we'll see you Saturday night, 7 p.m. kickoff at Gene Cox Stadium for the Class 1R State Championship against Hawthorne. Appreciate it, Coach.
Hey, thank you, Josh. I appreciate y'all's support and appreciate you covering us as always.
No, appreciate it. Thank you, Coach. That was Coach Wes Summerford in his third year, joining us from Northview High School here on FloydHSFootball.com. We got more videos with the coaches and previews coming up here over the next couple of days here as well, previewing all the games and talking to all the coaches playing in the state championship games in Tallahassee. For more videos and more information, go to FloydHSFootball.com. We'll see you here on all our FloydHSFootball.com social media platforms and on our website. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.